Hello. So hashtag Google Manifesto is all over the shop, and if you run in the kind of circles that I do, you've probably heard all about it, but there's a lot of people who don't, and since we're all sort of stuck in our little bubbles, this is a bit of a public service announcement just for people like my parents, for instance, my partner who's too busy being an awesome mum to hear about this sort of stuff. The Google Manifesto was something written by one of Google's software engineers. It was just an internal memo, and he was expressing some of his concerns with the ever-increasing obsession with diversity as it's implemented in some of these companies. The idea basically is that of diversity is that say if there's 50% women in society, then there needs to be 50% of women in every strata of a particular organization as well, so that the demographics in every organization match the demographics in society at large. This is a totally absurd and dangerous idea. So the memo was very reasonable. It was well researched, full of citations and footnotes, which the mainstream media, of course, neglected to include when they've been discussing this piece. The crux of his piece basically is that yes, there are in fact biological differences between the genders that predisposes men and women to different kinds of work. Holy shit, what a concept. Of course, this goes totally counter to the leftist / collectivist / cultural Marxist ideology that all differences in outcomes in populations must be the result of prejudice. The Google Manifesto is heresy to those whose God is equality. So this guy, James Damore, was promptly fired, which is a fucking travesty. So the culture war is real. Now there's all this talk about diversity, but the one kind of diversity that these people are terrified of is intellectual diversity, or a diversity of opinion or viewpoints. Now, as I've grown older, I find myself more and more on the conservative / like the right side of the political spectrum. That said, when I'm asked about my politics, I always say I am an individualist first, and I'm staunchly opposed to collectivism of all kinds. I want people to be judged on their individual merits. As Martin Luther King said, you know, I dream of a day that people are judged on the strength of their character and not on the colors of their skin. Of course, more and more in the West, we are getting legislation that is, you know, you have to fill these diversity quotas, and you know that is absolutely judging people on their genders and skin color and not on their actual virtues. So I recognize that no one has a monopoly on the truth. And in fact, the only hope we have at all of approaching the truth is to maintain a dialogue. Now, Google has, like I said, they fired this guy, and they're totally stifling, free conversation that we can have on this, and that's to the detriment of all of us, because we have no hope of approaching the truth if we can't maintain a dialogue. So go check out the original manifesto and see what all the fuss is about. It's very reasonable, and yeah, there needs to be more of it. So yeah, free speech matters. Thanks.